Most gardeners spend years trying to perfect their compost. I tried every bag of soil, every expensive additive, and still, something was missing. Then one day, I noticed something under my feet that completely changed how my garden grew. It wasn't fertilizer. It wasn't some secret formula. It was natural, free, and always there. I just hadn't seen it before. From that moment, my soil came alive, and my plants started thriving in ways I never imagined. The free soil trick I discovered is something called leaf mold. It's not compost, though it often gets confused with it. Leaf mold is simply autumn leaves that have naturally broken down over time. That's it. No bags, no chemicals, no expensive fertilizers. Just leaves, quietly turning into rich, spongy soil magic. What makes leaf mold so special for gardeners, especially seniors, is how gentle it is on both plants and people. It holds water like a sponge, so you don't have to water as often, and it's light and easy to handle, with no heavy lifting required. You can sprinkle it over your vegetables, flowers, or herbs, and your soil will instantly feel softer, healthier, and more alive. Leaf mold feeds the soil rather than forcing plants to grow unnaturally. It encourages beneficial microbes, keeps the ground airy, and slowly releases nutrients, giving your garden a steady, natural boost. For seniors looking for a simple, affordable, and safe way to nurture their garden, this is a trick that costs nothing but patience and rewards you with thriving, resilient plants year after year. Years ago, I met Ms. Eleanor White, a 79-year-old, retired librarian with a gentle smile and hands that had tended countless gardens. One crisp autumn morning, as we raked the fallen leaves from her yard, she said something so simple it stuck with me. Don't throw your leaves away. They're not trash. They're soil in waiting. At first, I didn't fully understand. How could old, brown leaves, crunchy and seemingly useless, be anything but waste? But Eleanor patiently showed me her secret. She piled the leaves in a quiet corner of her garden, let them sit, and over months, they transformed into rich, dark leaf mold. By spring, her vegetable patch was thriving. Tomatoes were juicier, herbs smelled stronger, and even her flowers seemed to glow. She explained, it's gentle work, but it keeps the soil happy. And happy soil grows happy plants. For seniors like Eleanor, or anyone who wants gardening to feel less like a chore, this is the kind of trick that changes everything. No heavy lifting, no expensive additives. Just patience, care, and a little trust in nature's rhythm. It's a reminder that sometimes the most valuable things are the simplest, quietly waiting for us to notice. Why leaf mold works. Leaf mold works its magic quietly, patiently, and naturally. Unlike compost, which often relies on heat from bacteria to break things down quickly, leaf mold is created slowly by tiny fungi that live in the leaves themselves. These fungi nibble away at the leaves over months, sometimes even a year, transforming crisp, dead autumn leaves into soft, dark, crumbly material that's almost like a sponge. This slow breakdown is exactly what makes leaf mold so gentle and effective. Because it's not cooked with heat, it preserves the leaf structure just enough to hold water. Imagine a sponge sitting in your garden bed, slowly releasing moisture to thirsty roots whenever the soil dries. For seniors, this means less frequent watering and healthier plants without extra effort. Leaf mold also loosens soil naturally. If your garden has heavy, compacted dirt that roots struggle to push through, adding leaf mold makes it soft and airy. Roots can grow deeper and stronger, exploring the soil freely for nutrients and water. Healthier roots mean healthier plants, stronger herbs, juicier vegetables, and flowers that bloom longer. Another quiet benefit is how leaf mold helps your garden handle hot or dry weather. Because it holds water and prevents the soil from hardening, your plants don't dry out as quickly. It acts as a gentle shield, keeping the ground cozy and protected, while still allowing air and microbes to move freely. What makes leaf mold even more wonderful is how simple and safe it is. No chemicals, no heavy machinery, no risk of burning plants. Just fallen leaves, patience, and time. You don't need to turn it constantly or check its temperature like compost. You can let it rest, and nature does the work. For seniors who want to enjoy gardening without strain, leaf mold is the perfect ally. It's lightweight, easy to sprinkle, and completely natural. It's a silent helper that improves your soil, nourishes your plants, and even makes your gardening routine gentler. The science is simple. Fungi break down leaves soft. Water-holding material roots grow easier. Soil stays fluffy, and healthy plants thrive. By embracing this slow, natural process, your garden becomes stronger, your work becomes lighter, and you get to watch life quietly bloom under your care. How to make it. Step-by-step safe instructions. Making leaf mold is one of the easiest and most rewarding things you can do for your garden, and it's completely safe for seniors. You don't need any special tools or heavy lifting. Nature will do most of the work for you. Here's a gentle, step-by-step guide. Step 1. Gather your leaves. Start by collecting dry leaves from your yard or neighborhood. Any type of leaf works: oak, maple, or even small garden trimmings. The key is that they're dry and free from disease or chemicals. Avoid wet or slimy leaves, as they can rot rather than slowly break down. Step 2. Shred. Shredding leaves helps them break down faster, but it's not required. You can tear them by hand, run over them lightly with a mower, or use a leaf shredder if you have one. Even whole leaves will eventually turn into beautiful leaf mold. You just may need to wait a little longer. Step 3. Pile or bag next. Place the leaves in a small, manageable pile or in a breathable garden bag. Keep it small enough that you can move it if needed, but big enough to allow nature to work. A simple corner of your yard works perfectly. Step 4. Lightly moisten. Sprinkle a little water over the leaves so they are slightly damp, like a wrung-out sponge. Avoid soaking them, as too much water can slow the process and create unpleasant odors. Step 5. Let nature work. Now comes the easy part: patience. Leave the pile or bag in a quiet corner of your yard and allow the leaves to break down over several months. Check occasionally to make sure they stay lightly moist. By the next season, or sometimes a little sooner, you'll have rich, soft, dark leaf mold ready to use in your garden. Safety notes. Keep piles small and easy to manage. No heavy lifting required. Store outdoors only to avoid mold inhalation indoors. Wear gloves if you like, but the process is naturally safe. You can place leaves under a tree, next to garden beds, or in a shaded area. It won't harm your plants. By following these simple steps, seniors can create a free, gentle, and soil-friendly soil enhancer that holds water, loosens compacted dirt, and nourishes plants naturally. It's one of the few gardening tricks that costs nothing but time and patience, and gives back so much in return. Even just sprinkling a handful over your vegetables or flowers can make a noticeable difference. Your garden will feel softer, your plants stronger, and your routine lighter. Leaf mold is proof that sometimes the simplest natural processes bring the most extraordinary results. How to use it. Once you've made your leaf mold, the next step is learning how to use it effectively in your garden. Leaf mold is gentle, lightweight, and completely safe, making it ideal for seniors who want to enjoy gardening without heavy labor or complicated steps. Here are 3 practical ways to put it to work. 1. Mix into topsoil. Leaf mold can be stirred directly into your garden's topsoil. This loosens compacted dirt, making it soft and airy, which helps roots grow deeper and stronger. It also retains moisture, so your plants don't need constant watering. This is especially helpful in raised beds, where soil can dry out quickly. Simply sprinkle a layer of leaf mold over the topsoil and mix it in gently with a hand, fork, or small trowel. You'll notice the soil becomes lighter, easier to work with, and more welcoming to your plants. 2. Use as mulch. Another wonderful use for leaf mold is as a mulch around existing plants. Spread a thin layer around the base of vegetables, flowers, or herbs to keep weeds at bay and reduce water evaporation. This means less time watering and more time enjoying your garden. Because it's soft and lightweight, you don't have to strain yourself lifting heavy mulch bags or pushing around thick layers. Over time, it will slowly blend into the soil, enriching it naturally. 3. Start seedlings. Leaf mold is excellent for starting seedlings. Its light, fluffy texture allows delicate roots to grow freely without resistance, helping young plants establish themselves quickly and safely. Unlike heavy garden soil, it won't compact in small pots or trays, making it ideal for seniors who enjoy starting plants indoors or in small containers. You can mix it with a little potting soil or use it on its own. The results are gentle, steady growth without the need for fertilizers or chemicals. Practical tips for seniors. Always use clean, dry leaf mold free from moldy, wet, or chemically treated leaves. A little goes a long way. Start with a thin layer and build up over time. Combine uses, sprinkle some in your topsoil, spread a layer around mature plants, and save some for seedling trays. Leaf mold is not magic, but it is a proven, low-effort way to improve soil, protect plants, and make gardening easier. For seniors, it transforms your garden into a softer, more forgiving space where plants thrive and your work feels lighter. By adding this simple, natural ingredient, you're giving your garden the kind of gentle care it loves, and that care comes back in healthier plants, less frequent watering, and a more enjoyable gardening experience. After a few months of using leaf mold, the changes in the garden are subtle but undeniable, the kind that warms the heart of anyone who tends their soil with care. For seniors, these are the improvements you'll notice most clearly. First, plants look stronger and more vibrant. Tomatoes stand a little taller, herbs smell fresher, and flowers open with richer colors. It's not an overnight miracle, but when you see your garden thriving in ways it hadn't before, it feels almost magical. The word overnight here is a storyteller's way of saying suddenly. The results are clear. After months of gentle care, your efforts have paid off. The soil itself changes. Where it used to dry out quickly, it now stays moist longer. You might notice that after a few days without watering, the soil still feels soft and damp underneath, providing roots with the steady moisture they need. This alone makes gardening easier and more enjoyable for seniors, as you don't have to rush outdoors every day with a watering can. Speaking of roots, they grow healthier and stronger. If you gently dig near a plant, you'll see roots spreading evenly, not tangled or struggling through compacted dirt. Strong roots mean plants are more resilient, better able to draw nutrients from the soil, and less likely to wilt during warmer days. Another benefit is the reduced effort required. Because leaf mold holds water and loosens soil, seniors spend less time bending, digging, or carrying heavy bags. The garden feels lighter to care for, and every task becomes a little easier. Even with all these improvements, it's important to stay realistic. Leaf mold doesn't produce instant miracles. It doesn't replace sunlight, attention, or patience. What it does do is quietly support your garden over time, making the soil healthier, your plants stronger, and your daily gardening routine gentler. Watching the transformation is deeply satisfying. From a pile of ordinary autumn leaves to soft, dark leaf mold, then sprinkled across your garden, the results are visible in richer soil, thriving plants, and a more manageable gardening experience. For seniors, this is the kind of change that encourages you to keep going. Proof that gentle, natural care truly pays off. By the end of the season, you'll recognize the subtle differences: soil that retains moisture, plants that flourish, and a garden that feels alive under your hands. It's proof that small, patient steps, like turning leaves into leaf mold, can create lasting, meaningful improvements in both the garden and the gardener's experience. Common mistakes to avoid. Even with something as simple and natural as leaf mold, there are a few common mistakes that can slow progress or create frustration. Seniors especially appreciate clear guidance, so here's what to watch out for. 1. Avoid wet, slimy leaves. Leaves that are damp or rotting don't break down into nice, spongy leaf mold. Instead, they can develop unpleasant odors and attract pests. Always gather dry, fallen leaves from your yard or neighborhood. If leaves are damp from rain, let them dry for a day or two before starting your pile or bag. 2. Don't mix in sticks or branches. Small twigs and branches take a long time to decompose and can make your leaf mold lumpy and uneven. Keep your pile or bag free from hard, woody material. You can easily remove them by hand, and your leaf mold will turn out softer and more uniform, which is especially easier to handle for seniors. 3. Don't pile leaves against house walls or buildings. While it may be tempting to use a corner of your yard near the house, piling leaves directly against walls can trap moisture against the structure and cause damage over time. Instead, choose a quiet, open area of your yard with some shade. This keeps both your home and your garden safe while letting nature do its work. 4. Don't expect leaf mold to replace all your gardening soil. Leaf mold is a supplement, not a substitute. It enriches soil, holds water, and helps roots grow. but it doesn't contain all the nutrients plants need on its own. Think of it as a gentle booster for your garden rather than a complete solution. Mixing it into existing soil or using it as mulch will give you the best results. By avoiding these simple mistakes, you ensure that your leaf mold develops correctly, stays safe, and provides the maximum benefit to your garden. For seniors, following these steps means less frustration, lighter work, and a more rewarding gardening experience. Remember, leaf mold is all about patience and care. With a little attention to detail, the process is simple, safe, and highly effective, turning ordinary leaves into a rich, nurturing soil supplement that keeps your garden thriving season after season. Before we finish, I'd love to hear from you. Gardening is full of little traditions and wisdom passed down through generations, and your experience matters. Have you ever used leaves, grass clippings, or other yard scraps to improve your soil? Did your parents or grandparents teach you an old gardening trick that still works today? Maybe it's something as simple as tucking fallen leaves into a garden corner or sprinkling kitchen scraps into your flower beds. Share it in the comments. Your story could help another gardener discover something new or remind them of the simple joys of caring for the earth. The beauty of gardening is that we learn from each other. One shared tip can make a big difference, especially for seniors who want to enjoy gardening safely and gently. Even a small memory, like a favorite plant your grandmother grew or a trick you tried years ago, can spark ideas and smiles in others. So take a moment to type it out. Your wisdom keeps the garden community alive and thriving. Compost is wonderful, but sometimes the best solutions are the simplest. Leaves, left to their own rhythm, taught me patience. They showed me that nothing in nature is wasted and that life unfolds quietly, one small layer at a time. By creating leaf mold, we give our gardens a gentle, natural boost. The results aren't flashy, and they don't happen overnight, but that's the beauty of it. Growth is quiet, steady, and deeply satisfying. It reminds us that care, patience, and small consistent actions are what truly make a garden and life thrive. If this video helped you, give it a like, share it with a friend who loves to grow, and subscribe to the Evergreen Seniors, where life never stops blooming. Your support helps us share more gentle, practical tips for gardening, wellness, and the joy of slow, mindful living. Remember, every leaf you tuck into your soil is a quiet act of love for your plants, your garden, and yourself. Each layer nourishes the earth, strengthens roots, and reminds us that even the simplest actions carry meaning. Gardening isn't just about plants, it's about patience, connection, and the small victories we can celebrate every day. So go ahead, let nature do its work, and watch your garden and your heart grow one small layer at a time.